Hello, everyone. Good morning. It is Sunday, August 28th, and I am Laurie Baracco, and I will give the stream a couple of moments here for everyone to receive the notification that I'm live. It is a beautiful morning here in Southwest Florida. I am at the Fort Myers Mystical Moon, and I'm looking forward to connecting with everyone today. All right, so if you can see me, if you can hear me, type your comment that all is good in the comment area. So good morning, everyone. I do see a notification that a few people have joined me already. So let's see here. All right. Okay. Oh, I see some friends saying good morning. Good morning. So for some of you, it's showing up Facebook user, and that's okay. Just let me know who's watching. All righty. Okay, let me get Dan out of there. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, I'm just kind of playing with some of this. Oh, okay, I see what's happening here. Okay, got it. Hello and good morning, everybody. So it worked. Hello, yay. All right, so I should be streaming on Facebook in my private group. I think I also am streaming also on my Laurie Baracco Facebook public page and on YouTube as well. So we'll get the party started. I am also going to try something a little different here, which I haven't done yet. I'm going to try to work with a screen share. So we'll see how all that goes. But first and foremost, I would love to set the space by burning some smudge here and setting the space as we talk about mediumship. Okay, so I've got my sacred trusty lighter and I'm going to light the sage. And I know someone had asked me about this. I believe it was in an in-person class that they were asking what type of container I was using to burn the smudge in. And this is actually the mortar of a mortar and pestle set that I have. So it's ceramic and it's of a thick material, and I put my herbs in here, and sometimes I'll put that charcoal briquette in here and I will burn herbs or smudge. Herbs and smudge, they are the same thing, but I'll work with intentions in that way. So today I have some white sage in here. I'm going to light my sage and we will connect in and talk about one of my most favorite topics. And I know that so many of you really do want to learn more about mediumship and embracing your own connection and fine tuning that as well. All right. So, oh, good. I see some people joining from Calgary and Ohio. Good morning. Good morning. All right, so we have the sacred smudge burning. All right, so let's all take a moment or two to connect in with each other through the World Wide Web here, the worldwide psychic web. So the psychic web is more than just this world here. It's otherworldly and all the astral realms. And so we call upon the light, we call upon our holy helpers, spirit, our spirit guides, our ancestors, those who are the highest and most loving light, to be present, to protect us, to guide us, to link us in energetically, psychically in a protective, psychic circle of light and healing and connectedness with community and tribe. And I ask that spirit assist me with connecting with my higher self and my guides as I bring through the information for the highest and best good of all. And so it is. And so it is. All righty. So the smudge did go out a little, so I'm going to light it just a little bit more. So take a moment, and with the sacred sage, as you see the smoke, allow it to cleanse your mind, your body, your spirit. Something I do like to do with the sage is I like to take the smoke and I fan it through all of the chakras. So I might start with the crown, the third eye, the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, the sacral chakra and the root, and allow the smoke to cleanse those energy centers as well as all the other minor chakras that we have. And so it is. Hello and welcome, everyone. It's so good to connect in with everyone. And if you're viewing on YouTube, please say hello. Please say hello. I don't see any comments yet from YouTube. I'm hoping I did this correctly with the with this format with the StreamYard. So, all right, let's see here. Good morning. All right, so today I'm going to be talking about mediumship, and I was inspired to talk about this topic this weekend because a couple of weeks ago, with a couple of friends, we went to go see John Edward. He was in our area in Southwest Florida. He's been here several times over the years, and I just admire his work, his craft, his dedication to sharing his gift for the highest and best good of all, to support people with their journeys of healing. And he really works very diligently with being a clear channel for spirit, whether it's for those on the other side or for spirit guides, and helping to bring through as clear of messages without distortion for the receivers. Yeah. So, yeah, he's just a really nice guy who has a level of confidence that's very important. I mean, there was at least 500 people in that room, and to be able to hold the energy and to stay in that psychic channel with all of these projections being sent towards you, right? So if you think about that, right? So here he is. Before he goes out on stage, I know he is connecting with his guides. He's connecting with his higher self. He's creating this vortex of energy, right? Of protectedness, so that he can stay in his channel and not get pulled out of it. Because you think about how many people are grieving and how many people came there for validation, to hear from their loved one, right? And so that's all being bombarded, right? He's being bombarded with all of those energies and those projections and those emotions of please, please, please read me, and I hope a message comes through, and so on and so forth, right? And so he has to be able to have his field be protected like Fort Knox. So it was really wonderful being there and watching the magic and receiving healing for myself as well through messages for other people. And that's the thing about mediumship too. You may hear a message for someone else, but it also may relate to you as well. All righty, so I'm just checking some of the comments here, and Sarah says, amazing. He was amazing. And Sherry Lynn, good morning. I see you on YouTube. Good to see you, Sherry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to share my screen. So if you could just give me a moment, let me just see if I can do this. I might have to share it and then not share it. Hold on here. Okay, so hold on a minute. I might not be able to do this. Hold on. I might have gotten it. Please, I'm just looking at the comments. So talk amongst yourselves if you'd like. Let me just pull that up there. I think I got this. Maybe, hopefully. Okay. Oh. Just 1 second. I got this then. I'm going to pat myself on the back. Okay, so can you see this? Can everybody see that screen? I think we can see it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. So can I... Where to go? All right. Hold on one second. I'm just going to double check. Can you see that screen in the way that was? I'm so sorry. I just need everybody to let me know if you could have seen that part where I started with the playing part. Okay, you can see it. Great. So I'm going to keep going then. All right. Play. Because when I do it full screen, all right, so there we go. There we go. Embracing mediumship, what it is and isn't. All right, so let me go back here. You were all able to see that part? Oh, now it stopped doing that. Hold on here. Okay, so everybody saw when, I'm just going to double check because I'm unable to see this part and that part there. Okay, so when I put like the slide up there, you were able to see that, yes? I'm gonna wait to see the comments. And like it was not the back end of it, but like as a full screen. Okay, good. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for being so patient with me. It's a little bit of a learning curve for me, so I apologize. All right. Okay, so this is a webinar, free webinar I shared a while ago, but it has a lot of the really great points that I know is really helpful for many people with understanding mediumship. And as I mentioned, I was guided by spirit to share some of these tips and these points because it is so powerful to be able to trust the messages that you receive from the other side. I am going to say this, and that is that I am unable to see your comments right now. So I'll go back and read them after I share this information. Okay, so embracing mediumship, what it is and what it isn't. And so I am Laurie Baracco. I am a psychic medium teacher, author, boss lady, and I have been connecting with clients for over 20 years. And I've worked with thousands and thousands of clients, and mediumship is the one area that definitely brings so much healing for both parties, those here in the physical and those in spirit. So mediumship is the ability to connect with the other side, our crossover loved ones, humans, and yes, our pets. And many are interested in learning about mediumship and how to connect with their deceased loved ones. However, many have reservations about connecting with their loved ones because they've heard many unfounded stories about how it's taboo to communicate with the other side. So many people, they're very cautious around connecting with the other side because of what people say, what they've heard of these horror stories, and some people have religious beliefs and so on and so forth. So I wanted to shed some light on some of that. Right. So here's someone that she's taking some time to reflect, and maybe she's grieving, maybe she's working on her abilities, and it's a sacred process. Okay. So here are some of the reasons why people are interested in mediumship. They have a curiosity about the other side, right? What happens, right? Like what is this? They want to connect with their loved ones. They have natural mediumship abilities and they want to learn how to embrace their gift, right? Some people sometimes people come through and I want to learn how to fine tune that. They may want to learn about the other side and what happens when we die. They may want to expand upon their psychic skill set. And maybe they have a desire to bring clarity, healing, and closure for themselves and potential clients. So here are some of the common beliefs that people have about mediumship. That you aren't supposed to communicate with the deceased, that it's bad, it's wrong, it's black magic. Well, it's not black magic if you set the space, you connect through a higher self filter, and you don't try to grab someone who is not voluntarily coming through, right? So someone may say, "Oh, I want to connect with my dog Fluffy," and you may not feel, and the medium may not see Fluffy or feel Fluffy, and it's like, I'm going to look for Fluffy because this person needs to talk to Fluffy, and Fluffy may say, "No, I am not coming through. I don't want to come through." So there is that part of mediumship of trying to force a connection, and if you're trying to force that connection, I'm going to say this as a seasoned medium, that you may not be connecting with Fluffy on the other side. There might be another energy that's coming through because you're trying to force the process. Message sessions should be free. So some people believe because if you have a psychic gift that you should just share that gift freely, right? You know, there are some people that say you shouldn't be charging for that natural God-given gift. And that's not true, because we have, if you are a full-time spiritual healer, counselor, you need to be able to pay your bills. I need to pay rent. I need to be able to pay the electric, the phone, for the scheduling system, for the proper training that I have received and continue to receive, for the care that I need to invoke for myself, my self-care, my staff to answer the phones, and so on and so forth. That website that I have is not free for people to be able to connect. This service of StreamYard is not free, and so on and so forth. Some people think that it should be free. Now, do sometimes you receive the message, you may receive the message that, hey, I need to share this with someone, and that this session should be free. So sometimes you do hear that, right? But that is different than deciding that you shouldn't charge for this, because there is a lot involved with keeping that instrument sacred, clear, and of a high vibration. And again, I do want to reiterate that as I'm looking at the screen here on my end, I'm not able to see the comments, and I'll go back and read the comments after I go over the material. So another common belief is you are holding them back from progressing when you talk to them. It depends too. I will say that this is a both and. So if you are still dealing with deep grief and you're wanting to connect with them and so on and so forth, like on a daily basis, and you need to hear from them and you need for them to repeat the same message that they're okay and so on and so forth over and over, that's creating a codependency. That is unhealthy for the person here. On the other side, yes, there are cords of energy, of emotion that can still be in place. And so there's that back and forth. But if you're wanting to connect with them and to check in with them, and if it's with a healthy communication protocol, then that's not holding them back. This is my own opinion. But if it's with codependency and I need to hear them and it's the same message over and over, that's not healthy for you nor them. Spirits on the other side automatically become evolved after transitioning. That's not necessarily true. They're just like here on planet Earth, there are different layers and levels of ascension that we achieve as we go through our experiences, and that is the same with those who transition to the other side. So from what I have come to understand through so much study, personal experience, and through client connections, is that the level of consciousness that you are at when you transition, it's like you just take a step to the side. So who you were when you transitioned is who you are on the other side. Now, is it possible that the ascension process is sped up on the other side? Sure, it could be, but it just doesn't mean that when someone transitioned, that they are now highly evolved and they have all the answers. That's not necessarily true, right? Let me get to the next one. Some people say, I can't control my mediumship abilities. I have these gifts and I just can't control them. Yes, you can. That is part of the ego, right? That's part of the ego that says, oh, I'm a wide open channel, and it just comes, and I'm just going to give you messages because I'm guided to give you messages all the time. That is more of the person who is communicating. That is their ego that's involved with the process, rather than respectfully honoring people's privacy and making sure you have permission before you start sharing messages. But with training and self-study and mentorship and workshop study over time, you'll be able to turn it on and to turn it off. There's a time and a place to do that. And I will not go around just be wide open and start sharing messages. Sometimes there's a little nudging from spirit, and then I have to have this dialogue with my higher self and spirit before I say anything. There needs to be an invitation before I start sharing messages. All right. So some people say I don't know how to talk to them, right? These are some of the beliefs around it. And so you can talk to them. I invite you to speak from the heart, communicate from the heart. If you have someone that's on the other side, human, pet, connect with them through the heart, and through telepathy, through your words, through song, through gestures. They will receive the message. You may not have that validation right away that they received it, but they do receive the messages through the intent, through telepathy, through the energy. So some people believe that mediumship is only connecting with the souls that have transitioned. No, mediumship is also talking to and connecting with spirit guides, past lives. So mediumship is when you are the in-between messenger between the other realms and here in the physical. So when I host mediumship galleries, I make sure that I communicate with the group that the message may be from a crossover loved one, human or pet. It may be a past life. It may be a spirit guide. But I am not going to limit it to just those who've crossed over. Okay, the next one is, it's too complicated and I don't have any mediumship abilities. Everyone has mediumship abilities. I've taught mediumship to hundreds of students, and many of them have gone on to be professional psychic mediums and very successful at that too. And so it's a learning, it's a muscle, it's like any other ability. It takes confidence and trust and trial and error and getting outside of your head to fine tune those gifts. And one thing that people do trip themselves up with is that they compare themselves to other people. So it's important, if you are striving towards fine tuning your abilities as a medium or a psychic, try not to compare yourself with other people. But it's not that complicated, because everybody does receive messages. Everybody can and does. You can and will, a myth is you can and will connect with whomever you want. And so you say, I'll take a Grandma Helen and a small Coke, please, right? So that's a joke, but some people believe that because you're a medium, or as a medium, you could just connect with whomever you want. And I have heard of other mediums who will promise that I can connect with anyone. It's the same thing with healing. I can heal anybody. I heal them. Well, not necessarily so. That's being in the ego. So when I open the space and when I mentor people, we set the space to connect with all those who are the highest and most divine light, if it's for the highest and best good of all. Right. So Grandma Helen may not come through because maybe she doesn't feel like it. Or maybe we're still dealing with a lot of grief with Grandma Helen. It might cause us to spiral. And so everyone is psychic. Every single person is psychic. Not just one person has the gift and over another. We are all psychic. We need to be, because it's that internal GPS that we all came here on this planet with. So we all have the ability to connect to the other side. It takes practice, learning how your psychic gifts work, creating a strong and trusted connection with your spirit team. It takes patience. Also learning about, so psychic development and mediumship is learning about creating a sacred space to connect with spirit. Consistency, practice again. Being able to put your ego to the side and place yourself in a place of trust as you work within your psychic channel. Before I even start a session, a lot happens before I even start my first session of the day. I make sure that I am in my space, my working space for the day, at least a half hour before sessions begin. Now, just sometimes like is there traffic or whatever that pops up. Yeah, sometimes that happens, but I always take the time and space, and I prefer at least a half hour to be in my workspace, to connect, to breathe, to clear, to sage, to work with my oils, to get in the zone and set the space with my spirit team before I connect with the first client. And then I begin my sessions. And when I'm with my clients, we start with another prayer of intention. So creating a sacred space to connect with spirit will help you with your doubt. It'll help you with your ego that's creating distortions. It helps you to trust what's taking place in that space. So there's the consistency of the practice and consistency, right? This starting to notice a certain flow. It's like, okay, this is familiar. And then being able to put your ego to the side, as I mentioned, and put yourself in that place of trust within your psychic channel, your higher self channel. So important. You learn how to connect with that. And again, patience. I'm going to say those things over and over because it's important. So you're already receiving signs. So here are some of the signs that spirit provides for us. There are coins, songs, messages through other people, dreams, animals, birds, books, I would say too. The spirit chills, electrical glitches, lights flickering, knocking on a door, wall, aromas. You might smell a certain cologne or perfume, number sequences. These are just a few signs that they provide for us. And so here are some tips for you to help you develop your abilities. Meditation is so important so that you're able to recognize and embrace the energy and the consciousness that is you and that's not you. This is what my higher self feels and looks like. And I recognize that, and I can recognize when I'm out of that psychic channel. Journaling, writing down your experiences to learn about your psychic language. Asking your guides and higher self to help you become more psychic. That's so important. That can help you beyond, right? So beyond your limitations, asking for help. I ask to be a clear channel for spirit's messages. Reading books can help. Taking a course online or in person. And so these are just some of the tips, right? So this has to do with your psychic abilities and being able to trust the messages, and it's that fine tuning, right? Your psychic abilities are like an instrument, and there's no shortcut to that process. And from my students, they will know that I have said that I continually work on my own gifts. I work on my own gifts to become a more confident psychic medium channel of spirit as well. So these are some of the things that you can do. I do have this question and answer, and I feel like that's about it. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, so, all right, I see some of the comments. So I just kind of ran through all of that. So let's see what some of the comments here. All right, so Anne. Okay, good. I'm just reading comments. Anne said she saw this. I'm glad it wasn't just me, but then it is just me. Then hopefully that was okay. So Anne has a question. Why do you use cards when you read people as opposed to someone like John Edwards? Since you mentioned him, who does not? Is the method different? Just personal preference. Thanks. For me, I have my ritual of setting the space and shuffling my cards, and then it's the energy of the cards. It's my ritual. I love working with cards, but if you have had a session with me where you can see me, whether it's Zoom or in person, oftentimes my eyes are closed or I'll look to the side. It's the flavor of how the recipe, my psychic recipe of how I work with spirit. And I also use my oil, which also is part of my conditioning. So whether you use a tool or not, it doesn't mean that you're not psychic or receiving those messages. Okay. I hope that makes sense. It is a personal preference, and I do think that John Edward also uses cards as well sometimes too, right? So, because I did see on TikTok he was using some cards and sharing some messages. I hope that answered that. And Sarah says, I started doing readings back in New York. I really enjoy it and helping people connect with loved ones and guides that come through, want to share. But she says she gets migraines and super thirsty afterwards. The migraines knock me down for a day or so. Oh, wow. So what's the best way to avoid that? I try to ground before and after, but maybe I'm not doing it effectively. Would love my advice. So, are you in your psychic higher self channel? That's my first question, right? So are you, when you set the space, are you connected with spirit in that higher self channel? And then kind of like going into that channel like a periscope and seeing who's around and so on and so forth. I'm going to encourage you to do that. And they're saying too that it feels like it's more of your physical energy, like a physical medium, rather than allowing that higher self flow to be that channel to help you with that. So I don't know if that makes sense a little bit. I'll wait a moment for your response. And Anne, you're welcome. Anne says thanks. So if anybody else has any other questions, please, please, please post them here. Okay, so I'm going to share this question. So someone has this question. It is not sure if it was covered, but do you know of anyone or even yourself that can guide a person through a full body channeling? I'm almost there, but tend to get way disconnected for myself, if that makes sense. So yeah, the full body channeling can be tricky, right? So, yeah, I feel that there needs to also be someone who is watching you to help support you with that when you go into that space. Because when we are in a full body channel, it can throw the physical body off, and it takes a long time to recalibrate. It takes a long time to adjust to the different vibrations that are running through the body. Your body was selected and created for you and your soul and your consciousness. And when we bring another entity into the body, it can throw our physical body off, and you can have distortions with your personality as who you are. So, I don't know who this is that's commenting, because for me it just says Facebook user. And I did want to mention, I noticed that my camera is kind of like fading a little bit in and out. I might have to look into that on my computer. I think that I have a computer glitch right now going on. But yeah, you want to be really cautious with it. Hi, Joe. Okay. Hi, Joe. Yeah. I can reach out to you with that, or reach out to me. That probably would be better. But I know that part of it is your spirit team, and maybe working with someone that's a mentor, like the dynamics need to be created, the boundaries, the rules in a way, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot more with that I'm going to encourage you to work with, right? Yeah. Okay, and so Sarah says, also this gift emerged during a past life regression. Do you think that has something to do with the way I channel? Sorry for all the questions. That's a great question. So I'm going to share her question. So this is what Sarah, that is the cutest picture. Oh my gosh. So, so her gift just like came forward during a past life regression session. So I just think that you need a little bit more guidance on how to create that channel for yourself. Okay. So we can chat. Hey, Sarah, are you back local in Fort Myers? I know you're back in Florida, but where are you? Where in the world are you? So, yeah. So with any psychic development protocol, creating that higher self channel and the relationship with your higher self, that any and all psychic information comes through you, the vehicle comes through that higher self to help you, so that you feel confident, you can trust the gift, you don't have to worry if it's a trickster, and you're not using your own physical energy, right? We don't want to do that. We want to be able to come out of a session or a spirit session, whether it's a reading or mediumship or healing, and be able to just come back to your full awareness and close down that channel a little bit. And it shouldn't take out. You should be able to function and not feel drained or thirsty or exhausted or have headaches, right? Because that's why I feel that it's more, it feels like it's psychic, but it feels like it's mental too, right? So I hope that helps. I'm so glad you're local. Yay! Can't wait to see you. All right. So does anybody else have any questions about mediumship? I'll give it a moment. I'll give the comments a moment to see. All right. If anybody else has anything to share? So I know that tuned in today that there are a few people that have studied mediumship, and I'm wondering how your gifts are evolving. And I know sometimes that we are busy with life, and maybe we don't work at our gift, or the practice, or practice, group practice or individual practice kind of goes to the wayside. So has anyone that's taken mediumship, either whether it was with me or anyone else, to share your experience? How has your gift evolved? Do you have any questions about the messages that you're receiving for yourself or others? And I see Patty there. She also a big migraine sufferer. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. So let's work on bringing the energy from the crown, moving it through the third eye, through the whole body, and grounding yourself in that way. It might even help to put a little grounding oil like patchouli on the bottom of your feet. That might help a little. Okay, there's another question from Facebook user. One more question. So this is probably Joe. So when I enter the Akash, I visualize books, but have you ever heard of the cover of one's record changing? Mine did a few months ago, and I found it was awesome, but different, a bit strange. Yeah, I'm going to say, why not? Why not, right? So there are people that have had experiences that have shifted their perspective. And some people call this a walk-in. And this is my definition of a walk-in, is that when through either a trauma or a life-changing experience, positive, negative, whatever it is, but your life is different, that another aspect, a more evolved aspect of the personality self moves forward, and it can change your path. Just as you make a split decision, it can take you down a different pathway to experience a soul lesson or soul experience. And yes, absolutely, the cover can change. It can be upgraded, or you could take on extra credit. And that's a beautiful thing about our paths. There are certain experiences the soul wants to have, and you can learn, grow, heal, and have other experiences as well based upon your free will choices. I hope that helped, Joe. And Sarah says, I need to take your class. I haven't had any training other than what I've read. My book also. She thinks she definitely needs help with getting in the right space for readings beforehand. Absolutely. What I'm hearing, Sarah, is that you have that natural gift. And so just smoothing out some of those edges, right? And I know you've taken classes too. That I do know. I know it's just smoothing out some of those edges and bringing in that level of confidence, even more so for yourself. Like, like they're saying that, imagine if you didn't have to think about it, that when you're in that space, you know that you're not going to be exhausted. Because I would have overwhelm if I knew I was going into that psychic space, and I would be exhausted afterwards. Like, I wouldn't want to do it as much, right? Be like, it's going to wipe my ass out. I ain't doing it, right? So if you can do so when you're in that space, it's like you get in, you set that prayer of intention, you step out. You're not exhausted as much, and you're not emotionally corded to the experience with your clients, right? So I can be empathetic, have love for my clients, and hold space for you, but I'm not going to be pulled into the emotions of all of what's going on, right? Once in a while, there might be a tear because of the emotion and the love I feel, but it's important for me to stay in that higher self, loving, unconditional love space and to beam light and support that to you in that way. And I'm going to take a sip of water. Look at this cup. I got to show you my cup. This is my cup from Nancy Santana. And so Joe says, thanks. And that's what I figured happened, but confirmation is always great. You got it, friend. Angie says, what if you feel blocked and can't seem to move forward? I'm hearing it's the expectation that's holding you in place, that expectation. It's got to look like this. I'm going to be able to do this, this, and this, right? So setting that intention to become more intuitive, and that I'm asking my spirit team, my helpers, to help me move through some of these blockages or the stagnation that I'm feeling, to help me move forward, right? They're also saying to also reflect upon where you were maybe 6 months ago to where you are now. And so the evolutionary process to become more intuitive and to trust yourself and to have those gifts like really on fleek is to also be aware that stuff is going to come up in your life, not just your psychic practice work or your spiritual life, but your human life, your personality stuff. So the drama that you're trying to get away from, the toxic relationships, the toxic belief systems, those also, all of those will hinder your intuition. They will hinder the process. So know that, right? So whatever keeps repeating or is prevalent in your life right now that you're like, later on, I'll deal with that. I want to go into the psychic zone. Like whatever this is over here, it probably would serve you to look at it and to deal with it now, right? Whether it's setting that boundary, whether it's boundaries with others or yourself, that's all part of your process. So that will help you. I hope that helps, Angie. All righty. So, and Sarah says, so true. It is true. I agree. Let's see here. Any other questions? We've got just a little bit. Uh-oh. I just saw my thing freeze. Okay. We have a little bit more time. So does anyone have another question? And Angie says, oh my gosh, that makes sense. Good. I'm so glad. And so I'll wait a moment to see if anyone else has a question or two. And then I'm going to pull from a deck. I haven't decided which one I wanted to pull from for messages. Ooh, this one's hard to open. All right, any other questions? Oh, this is a lot. But I'm gonna work with this deck. All right, so if there aren't any other questions, I'm going to work with this deck. We have this deck at both stores, and we have it in the online store, but I think we might be out of it in the online store. We might pop a couple in there anyway. But this is the Mediumship Training Deck by John Holland and Lauren Rainbow. So I'm going to select 3 cards here, and this is the intention with these 3 cards is this. It's a message from someone that you've been wanting to hear from. That's in spirit. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to pull 3, and I want you to, just decide whether you want card number 1, which I'm going to put them over here like this. 1, card 2, card 3. And it might be that they all resonate, or it might be that none of them resonate, or the one that you chose resonates. Okay, so here we go. So if you chose number 1, this is the card. And I have not worked with this deck yet, but this is the Invisible Shield card. So if you chose the first one, this is, This is for you. Card number 1. This is the invisible shield. I'm going to try to read some of it. Have you ever experienced the feeling? Have you ever experienced feeling the presence of a loved one who has passed, or even thought of them and suddenly they came into your mind? Even though they're in the spirit realm, their spirit body has an aura which lovingly reaches out to yours. So if you've ever felt like someone's near me, like I'm feeling something, who is that? What is that? This is that loved one that you have been thinking about, and they're letting you know that my energy, my aura is with you. Okay. So be mindful of feeling the chills, of feeling maybe something touch your hair, or maybe just like a gentle touch on the side, or like I said, those chills. There is that one, the invisible shield. Kaylee says, finally, I had a hard time getting on here. Oh no. Well, I'm glad you're here, Kaylee. So if you chose number 1, this is for you. So knowing that those subtle energy feelings, brushes, touches are that's your loved one with you. If you chose number 2, woo, it's the animal kingdom. So animals of all types are extraordinary creatures and miraculous gifts to us, as they have been our spiritual companions since the dawn of time. Whether they have feathers or fur, 2 legs or 4, they also have souls, and people take comfort in knowing their beloved pets exist in the spirit world. So Fluffy is around you. Fluffy hears you. Fluffy feels you. Fluffy is supporting you. So knowing that your loved spirit companions, animal companions, are with you as well. And Kaylee says, sometimes she has that sensation on her right forearm, so it's a loved one. If you choose number 3, you have nature's healing power. So this is a message from one of your loved ones. Nature is not only something we see with our eyes, but also something we can feel and experience in our body, mind, and spirit. It can be wonderfully restorative to our overall well-being. Now is the time to let your body absorb the healing power that nature has to offer. So if you've received my newsletter, I sent it out yesterday, and I was talking about, how funny, for one of the exercises for new moon and Virgo is to go outside without music, without listening to someone, to go outside in nature and soak up nature. The trees, feeling the trees, listening to the birds, smelling the plants, smelling the wind. You can smell the wind, right? To soak all that up for yourself. So Sarah says, 3 is perfect. So get on out there. And yeah, here in Southwest Florida, it's a little hot these days. A little hot. Someone has a question. Okay, so I'm going to share your question. I don't know who this is because it's not showing your name, but someone says, I might have a question, but it's complicated. It might be a better in-person question. But basically, what do you do when you see other attached energy cores to another for not a positive reason? It actually slightly infringes on their free will. Like, would you try to unravel it or cut it, or would you just let it go? So this person ran into the situation and they're at a loss, but I was told to just be a witness, but it still irks me. That's a good question. So when you see those codependent cords, so is this for yourself or for other people that are experiencing it, right? So if it's for yourself, cut those cords, call in Archangel Michael. You could use my cord cutting spray. You could get some selenite. You could take a salt bath. You can go out in nature and disconnect those cords. If you're observing it with another situation, what you want to do then is to wait for that invitation before you do anything. So there are soul agreements that people have with each other that we may not understand, and we are not to interfere without an invitation. Oh, it's Joe again. Hi, Joe. And it's Joe and another person. Her cord doesn't stick to me. Okay, so then work on your own energy field, right? So I think what you're saying is it's the other person connecting their cord with you, right? But if you see other people and the dysfunction going on, sometimes we are to observe it and to not interfere without an invitation. But if it's somebody else's cord that's with us, we need to disconnect those cords, do all of the spiritual hygiene practices, work with those that we know help us. She's connecting to others without them knowing. Yeah. So wait for that invitation, right? And you can also, with your intentions or your prayerful thoughts, sitting healing and light for the highest and best good of all, helping all and harming none, and letting it go there, right? And if it's not appropriate, then that healing will go to someone else. So we see a question from Angie. So her question is, what's the best way to ground yourself? So I like to breathe. I like to breathe. I like to take a moment and bring myself back to the moment to breathe. And I count when I breathe. Breathing in 2, 3, out 2, 3, a couple of rounds of that. If I can go outside, I'll go outside. I always disconnect myself from whatever's taking place and I'm feeling overwhelmed. I, again, take it back to the breath, bring my awareness back to the breath. I might call in Archangel Michael. I might call in my guides. I might intentionally go eat something that's grounding, like a rooted vegetable or some almonds or something like that. I do know sometimes I drink coffee. That does ground me, but you don't want to overdo it. You can work with essential oils and put them on the bottoms of your feet. You can work with woodsy oils like patchouli or sandalwood. Of course, you're going to want to make sure that you like the aroma, because that's putting yourself through torture, suffering, if you don't like the aroma. Also working with your root chakra, seeing the color red and anchoring your feet into the earth like a tree. That also can help too. All right. Okay, good. And you're welcome, Joe. All right. So we just have another minute or so. So does anyone else have a question? You could type it in the comment area. Just give it a moment because I know that there's a little delay. Angie, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, I think everybody feels like they're pretty complete. Awesome. So I did want to pull one more card from the, this was the other deck, and this is the last message. Thank you. Love my mug. I love my mug too. I think Nancy she got me a couple mugs. There's that one and another psychic one. I think she got them at Marshall's or something, or Home Goods. So Kaylee's question is, how can you tell you're a victim of a psychic vampire? Well, you feel really exhausted. You might have those psychic headaches when you're around certain people. You feel drained. That's the main thing, is you're feeling drained. And when people are psychic vampires, they don't usually, they aren't aware that they're doing this. And what they do is they engage you. They'll ask lots of questions and they'll compliment you. It's they're waiting for that response back. And so that dialogue, often that reaction, is often a way of looping you in energetically. But usually, you know that that you've got someone who maybe struggling in their challenge with connecting to source and energy on their own. And therefore they poke, usually not consciously, that they don't know they're doing this, for reactions from other people. So usually, you're exhausted, you have headaches, you're drained, you have that gut feeling like, I got to deal with that situation. That's a lot, right? Some people who are extra, right, in that way. So I hope that helps. Again, cord cuttings, disconnecting, grounding yourself, salt baths, Archangel Michael, have that cord cutting spray. There's a cord cutting candle, sea salt, bars of soap, that can help as well. Okay. Also, I believe carrying and working with fluorite, that can help you too. And selenite. Selenite's wonderful for that. And you're welcome. Oh yeah, so I was going to pull one card from the Talking to Heaven deck from James Van Prague. So this is the message. This is the last message. And I feel like this is at least for one person that's watching. I always give you a good night kiss. So there's always someone that at the end of the day that they connect with someone, they say goodnight to someone, they kiss their picture, they give them a kiss before they go to sleep. There's someone that's saying, I'm acknowledging that with you. Oh, that's sweet. All righty, everyone. So thank you so much for tuning in. And it is a beautiful message, Sarah. I agree. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Have a beautiful week. We're moving into September, right? So we're just at the end of August. We just had that new moon yesterday. We're still in the energy of planting those seeds, setting those intentions, moving forward for all of ourselves. Thank you all so much. It's so good to connect with everyone. Love you all. Take care of yourselves. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Namaste. Bye-bye, everybody.